So the other big differences between the GameCube version and this version are, besides being able to marry Lumina, that he mentioned briefly, but the pasture actually doesn't let you cut grass until and unless you fertilize it. So you actually have to spend money to get your fodder one way or the other. And let's see what else was different. We'll figure it out as we go along. I haven't played the GameCube one in a while, so it shouldn't trip me up too much. And we're about to meet the Harvest Sprites. I've never seen this Harvest Sprite before. They think we're a Harvest Sprite too. Who is it? Who is it? But who could it be? We're the only Harvest Sprites in this town. Who is it? Who is it? Yeah, he's kind of flat, so I'm making him have a funny voice. I think you're right. So who is it? Purity? I see. A Harvest Sprite named Purity. Nice name. Oh, I see. I'm Mac. Nice to meet you. My name's Nick. Nice to meet you. I'm Flack. Nice to meet you. We will not be seeing a whole lot of the Harvest Sprites. They're really not the kind of characters that we can befriend in this version, so there's not really a whole lot of reason to see them. And we can't give gifts to them anyway. And I tend to save in the morning and then maybe have another save during the day and then save before going to bed. So this is our morning save, and that was my previous save. We're just going to save over it though. And inside buildings, time does move, so we're gonna head outside real quick. And I'll probably just record in one long session and only do the one intro at the beginning of that first part. And it is really, really hecking doodle dark. Like, it's really, really dark during the night hours. I hope this actually doesn't look too dark for you guys. So the first order of business pretty much of every day is going to be spent on our farm, either taking care of the animals or taking care of our crops, which we don't have any quite yet. Our first order of business would be taking care of our car, but she's asleep. We don't want to wake her up because that will make her upset. So we'll check out the tool room. And we're going to pick up the watering can, the sickle, and the hoe. And we are going to deposit the milker because we can milk by hand, and that's what we're going to do. And he also mentioned some seeds. So we're going to take both of those. And the cow might still be asleep, so I'll just plant those real fast. Well, not fast, because he's really slow. And get our watering can out so that we can fill it, because it starts out empty. Or we can put it away again. There we go. Dip. We're going to grab our hoe. And it'll actually go into this funny angled view when we're near these fields. And I'm going to plant them right next to our house to make it a little bit easier. There are different soil grades, but we're not going to really worry about that quite yet. So these are tomatoes. In some of the other games, tomatoes you could harvest and then you could just keep watering them and they would grow again. In this game, none of the plants are going to be harvestable more than once except for the trees. So we need to be a little thrifty when it comes to what we're going to be buying in order to plant and harvest. And that was a mugwort that I picked up, which is just a consumable. It's not worth a whole lot, so we will be eating and feeding them to our dog for the most part. In this game, when you wake up in the morning, you don't automatically eat something, so we actually will get hungry throughout the day, and he'll make a little sad face and rub his tummy, and it'll grumble, and then we know we have to feed him. And that's the doghouse. Dog's still sleeping in it. Dusty's house. And anything you put in the dog dish will turn into dog food, no matter what it is, so it doesn't really make a difference, and the cheaper, the better. Let's see if our cow is awake. Yes, she is. So we can feed her by hand or put the feed in her feed boxes. I think that feeding her by hand will raise her affection, so I choose to do that. Not everybody thinks that, though. Let's see, I talked to her, but she is not in a position for her to get fed. Let's try this again. Show the food, and yes, there you go. Nom nom nom. Nom nom nom. And we're going to snuggle her. She liked that, and now we're going to milk her by hand. We don't have the brush yet, but as soon as we can get the brush, I will be getting the brush so that we can brush her and make her happy. And that's all we need to do for her for now. We will have to feed and milk her twice a day, though. So we need to make sure to have time to do that. This is kind of a small, in terms of just size, town compared to some of the other games, but considering how slow he moves, it's kind of a good thing. So our first order of business is to do some rudimentary gathering. And I am kind of a min-maxer in pretty much all games, but especially Harvest Moon games, so I'm going to try my best to befriend everyone and get all the items that happen to be lying around. And I will be spending kind of a lot of time fishing in the beginning here because that's one of the easiest ways to make money in the beginning. And I will be doing a fair amount of excavating, not for money necessarily, but because the experimenter guy likes a particular item that comes out of the archaeology dig site, and if we befriend him, he will give us something really nice, which we want, and would otherwise have to spend a fair amount of money on, and anything that we can get for free is good. There are two different kinds of flowers that we will be picking in spring. One is the toy flower and the other is the goddess flower. So if you are holding something and you press the X button, it'll give you a description of what it is that you are holding. The other way to look at descriptions is by going into the regular menu with the start button and then pressing triangle for the help button. And the watering can holds 35, the small one, and as we go through the game, we'll acquire other items, not just watering cans, but hose and sickles and such, and they will have different properties. And this is the milk that we got from our cow. The B is the quality of the milk, so we will be feeding her and taking good care of her, so she should be giving us higher quality milk. As time goes by, we'll get A, and then when she really likes us, we'll get S. And we'll also be getting less or more cans of milk as time goes by. So theoretically, I haven't played in a while, but theoretically, if we forget to feed her, she'll give less milk, which is why we only got 2 this morning, because no one fed her last night. Takakura was lazy. So hopefully, for this afternoon's milking, she will give us 4. and these heavy items are heavy and tiring to use, and it means exactly what it says. They're heavy, and so that will make us even slower than we normally are, and they're tiring to use, meaning they take up a lot of our energy, and we won't be able to use them for a whole lot. And this is the Goddess Drop. I don't know what a mildly sweet aroma like milk means. I don't think that milk smells sweet, but it does have 2 flowers on one stem, which is kind of interesting. And as you saw, we have 3,000 monies, which is not a whole lot. And that tree with the little door is the sprite's house, which I will show you this one time. And I'll show you something inside the house that I don't think was in the GameCube version. Only in this version, which is kind of weird. I don't know how anyone would have figured it out, really. It's just kind of strange. And that's Murray. He's homeless, and those are flies buzzing around him, which is kind of gross, but what's worse is he actually named them. Hey, what you got there? Give me something, moit. That's his little catchphrase, moit. Got nice and warm, moit. And we eat a mushroom to go inside the Harvest Sprite. It's kind of like Alice in Wonderland. Eat me, drink me. Here with me today is my cat Pumpkin. He is sitting on my lap waiting for me to pet him. And these are the sprites again. People in Forget-Me-Not are funny, so we go to see them all the time. You're our friend Purity. You're a good person, so I like you. I hope something fun happens. So this is the trick, which is that this pot actually has a thing inside it, just like this is saying, but what it does eventually is, after I investigate it 100 times, I will be able to talk to the sprites and request the gender of my child. In the original game, I'm pretty sure you could only have a boy, but apparently in this game you could have a boy or a girl. And as far as I can tell, this is kind of the only reason I ever come in here. And no, I'm not counting. It'll change what it says when we get enough. Even the sprites are bored. Yes, I am quite something. And I win! Mr. Potts is asking what your wish is, Purity. Well, I'll go with the sun. It looks like Purity wants a boy. Mr. Potts, Purity is a good friend of ours, so please grant this wish. I like playing a boy for Harvest Moon. To me, I mean, I've been playing since the N64 one, so I kind of only want to play this game as a boy. There are other games that I'm fine playing girls, but this one to me, it's like Harvest Moon is playing a boy, right? And I find that the female marriage candidates are usually a lot more attractive and interesting than the male marriage candidates tend to be. And you can see some artifacting on the back of his head. Poor guy. He's okay though. So that's kind of the only problems we'll be likely to have, technically speaking, is the little bit of lag here and there and a little bit of artifacting on the back of his head. Again, not that big a deal. Unfortunately, with Grandia Extreme, it would be hard lockups and freezes, and it was just not possible. And hopefully they'll come out with some kind of codec or update to my emulator and I'll be able to play it, or maybe I can get a screen capture device of some kind and I can just play it on my PS2, because I know that the game itself is not damaged at all. It's just the emulator that was doing that. Now these flowers are just going to be presents. I'm not going to be selling them, but I do want to pick them all so that when it comes to times when there are no flowers. Like, I don't think there are any flowers in winter, or there might just be a couple that we don't have to stop giving people presents or give them expensive presents.